On today's episode of The Hustling Agent, we have Jenny Wemert from the Wemert Realty Group in Orlando, Florida. Jenny and her husband Mike are great people. I've learned so much from them. I love hanging out with them. Really have a good perspective and a lot of great stuff that they do in their business. Check it out. All right, folks, today we have Jenny Wemert from Orlando, Florida. She has a great business out there and great persons. Her and her husband are so smart, and I love talking to you guys. I've learned so much just from hanging out that I wanted to have you on so we can just talk about what's been happening.
Thank you. Anything for you, Suneet?
Oh, thanks. So, the date today is May 7th. So this may be published in a couple weeks. So I wonder what the difference is going to be during, of the state of the world, right?
Right.
But talking right now during this time, what have you guys been experiencing in your business?
Yeah, we have been fortunate in Florida that we were never fully shut down. So we have been considered essential from the beginning. We were discouraged to do open houses. Nobody did. It wasn't socially acceptable anyway. At first we had to get around those Facebook posts of I'm out working because people would judge us negatively that we were actually out earning a living, right? So the tide has changed on that, thank goodness. But we've been essential from the beginning. The challenge from a business ownership perspective is, how hard should we push our agents to go out and sell? So we allowed all of our agents to choose their level of comfort. We shut our office down, had everybody work from home remotely. That has worked out a little too well. So I don't know if we're ever going to get our staff back, but that may be okay too. So we've learned that flexing in the day is actually more productive. And so I think we'll see some changes that stick coming out of that. But we've been in business and really it has slowed down. Obviously we will see that when feel it probably more in June, in July, when you start to feel that pipeline of closings diminish. But I do think that we're going to come out of it strong just because we live in Orlando, Florida, and everybody from the north wants to come to Orlando, Florida, and get the heck out of New York right now. So I think we'll be okay.
You guys are planning to experience some kind of migration to heat and less confined areas, less dense areas, right?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the perfect storm too. We don't have the state tax that New York has on income. We don't have the death tax. Your home can be protected in bankruptcy in Orlando. And then with the tax law changes where, you can't write your mortgage tax off and deductions and all of that, it really makes moving to Orlando very desirable for those Northerners because, they can come here, get 3 times the amount of space, luxury living, and save money. And, and have the sunshine, and if you get stuck quarantining or hunkering down, you're not, 6 people in 1,000 square feet.
Totally.
So it's a very easy decision to relocate here.
You have me sold. Shoot.
Come on, let's do it.
I'm in California, right? Talking about Texas. You have me sold. I'm like, wow, I didn't know all that.
Yeah. It's a pretty popular place to come. That's why we have a lot of athletes and stuff here because, they have asset protection and, so it's.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you got the parks and all the other restaurants and shopping. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And that's why, the luxury, if you talk to Robert Slack, our friend, he's been, bragging that he's been getting all these $1 million leads from Realtor.com. And I was like, how are you getting all these? But he's getting the coast because he buys the coast. And, it's that luxury home buyer that wants to reinvest their money here and get more for their money.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
I've spoken to both of you guys in the last couple of weeks, him very often, right? And he was talking about those leads and the migration. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens here in California if people don't really migrate here too often anymore, right? Everyone's it's exodus.
Well, I
Um,
mean, now you have a pandemic along with the fires and the mudslides and the, the droughts
hopefully,
and whatever else, we have hurricanes. We know how to hunker down, but
oh
this,
yeah,
whatever. This is crazy. This is a whole nother level of hunkering down.
totally, right? Totally new for everybody. What? So I like how you said in the beginning, because I did something very similar, is I called all my agents and said, hey, what's your plan?
Mhm.
Sounds like you did that too, right?
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure people were comfortable. And, I think some people, for me, I have severe asthma. So the fear of being on a respirator has grounded me. But some people, don't have that. They don't have anybody in their family that is at high risk. And they were comfortable staying out and earning a living and felt blessed that they could continue to earn a living and that their world didn't come to a stop like everyone else's. Some people were just, they had elderly parents at home or maybe children with autoimmune issues, and they just needed to ground themselves.
You cut out. Did we lose Jenny? I think we lost her. We can edit this back in when I get you back, Jenny.
That's right. We just made it work, and
Well, you
it was
just cut out.
surprising.
You just cut out for about 30 seconds.
Oh no. Um, I was saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying it was surprising how much we were able to get done virtually during that time that, I never thought you would be able to convince people to do. But when you're told you can't, we were having our sellers download our Zillow app and do 3D tours themselves
Oh,
because we couldn't come to their house. You're like, here's the login, go stand in a circle. And
what a good idea. Shoot.
we're like, and then we just, if we had to, we were just going to use the seller's photos for now until we could come in and get better photos. But because we were considered essential and we still had a demand here, we were convincing people to continue to list, one, because so many people were holding off that it was a better, they had a better opportunity to rise to the top.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know where prices were going to go, and we kind of anticipated a little bit of a backslide just on demand and distress. We're like, if you're thinking about selling in the next 6 months, you may just want to do it now. Well, where you stand in pricing, and you don't want to get into a market where you're chasing it backwards.
Yeah.
It's not looking like that's going to be the case anytime soon, but I mean, we just don't know. We just don't know.
I love everything you're saying. I've said almost the same thing. I've learned from you all these years now. It just happens because of the environment.
I'm not saying anything smart, like all things that everybody else has said.
What maybe? So about like the daily habits for your agents, because you have guys that are productive agents. It's always like amazing on the productivity of them. What did you tell them to do differently during this time compared to normal business?
That's been the biggest challenge, right? Because first you have to understand, like, just to give a little bit of background on our team, we're a brokerage. We call ourselves a teamerage. We operate as a team, very dependent model, rainmaker model, where we generate the leads, hand them out to the agents, they go sell, and they're supported by a large team of admin behind the scenes. Okay. So I've always said, all of our agents are productive. When we hire them, they're achievers. They're, good servant-hearted people. We're not micromanagers. We don't manage by micromanaging, never have. And we've always let people adult, and we check in their business, and we make sure our businesses are aligned. So if, not all of our agents have the same goals. So if, our agent has two a month goal, do we have the ability to support them in that? And we make sure they have the right structure, the right opportunity to do it. But we don't have them log in every day and tell me how many people you called, how many note cards did you write, did you ring the bell when you talked to so-and-so? Like, we don't do that because I wouldn't want to work that way. So I'm like, well, who wants to be told at what to do every minute of the day? I want you to adult. I want you to treat your business as a business, and we're in partnership, essentially in our businesses, and we got to make sure we're doing our part and you're doing your part. And other than that, we usually leave people alone. It's been really tempting to, through this, think, oh my gosh, we need to innovate and change our model and do everything, and like we need to have a call every morning and a huddle and like, why are we changing all of this? So we've resisted the urge to try to change too much and not necessarily innovate. We've adopted technology, but what we do works. We just have to make sure we do it better, and it's really the basics. So if we've changed anything, it's been a focus on mastery. So we are offering voluntary classes. Our new agents have to plug in, but our older agents, if they want to, they can, or they don't have to, unless they're strongly encouraged to for some reason. But we're doing really, really in-depth mastery classes, so that our agents are equipped to consult clients at a high level. And that's all it's going to take, because we can make the phone ring, and we have a database of 100,000 people that we can touch base in, but we need to convert them, and we need to service them at a high level, and that's what will give us the stability and the strength moving forward. So we're just small tweaks, but really focusing on mastery.
Love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try not to overcorrect.
Sure.
It's tempting though.
That's very insightful. I made some big changes. I did a huddle. I had stopped for 6 months after years, and I brought them right back.
Yeah. But
I
think that there's a need to connect, right? Do you feel disconnected? So there's a good reason to do that, in the fact that you're getting up everybody out of bed, that they have to show up, at some point at the day and connect.
Yeah.
I think that works. It just, if I did it to our team, they would rebel, because we're never into that,
Totally. Yeah. I started with that. Then I got tired of it myself when my second girl was born. I was all, man, I'm too busy in the mornings, right? Like,
yeah.
I can't do this. But now I said, hey, I'm at home, and it's going to be at 10:30 instead of 8:30 like it used to be. And sure, it's in the middle of prospecting time, but I think it's a good check-in. Maybe it's more for me than for anybody else, right?
Well, and you see the people, and it feel like, because, as a leader, sometimes you're like, is anybody doing anything? Is everybody just laying out at the pool? Because, I'm sitting here watching my daughter float in the pool right now. I'm like, is that what everybody's doing right now? And you feel that anxiety, and you feel the need to do something and control it. And it's been super tempting to try to, my husband and I just had that conversation like 20 minutes ago. Do we need to change things? Do we need to do something? And we just have to keep pulling ourselves back, because you just feel disconnected. You can only see 8 people on a Zoom call at one time. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
You just assume nobody's doing anything, but they are.
Well,
we didn't need to Zoom them before. Why do we need to see them now?
Yeah. The ones that always have are still doing, and the ones that never have still aren't doing.
Exactly.
Right. And that's pretty plain and simple what I've found. So last question, we talked about this. So what advice do you have for other brokerage owners and team leaders? What advice do you have for me, Suneet?
I wish I was, some profound speaker, but, the reason we've been able to come through this pandemic, which we're not through it yet, but approach it without a lot of fear, is because for the last 3 years, we have had a very strong approach to our database to work on our repeat referral business numbers. And so, we sell 900 homes a year, but 40% of those are repeat referral business. And that's something we're really proud of. It's hard to do.
Totally.
But we've been really focused on that. But that gives us that foundation. So no matter what comes at us in a market, whether we shift to a buyer's market, we stay in a seller's market, we know that we have a strong foundation of people in the marketplace that know, love, and trust us, that, if they have to sell because they're in distress, they're going to call us. If they want to buy another home and, because they're rich, that we can sell them a second home, whatever that is, we can help. And so I would say, just to anyone, new agent, not, really solidify that database. Every person in that database should have a next action, a next plan. You should know who your influencers are, really be in relationship, not just, I'm not talking about like random drips, right? We don't drip on not on our past clients or sphere. We drip on leads, but we don't drip on our data. Our mothership database, right? We have true connections and relationships. And so I guess that would be my advice from what I feel like we've done well, but.
Like you're giving me ideas right now, because, when we get busier and bigger, we get so transactional sometimes.
Right.
I'm guilty as heck, right? And I know that being newer, that you forget about the bread and butter.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think it's a challenge for us to have agents who are used to leads work on their sphere, right?
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. They, well, especially when they have, leads kept falling out of the sky, and we're saying, okay, now go spend time, calling people that you've already done business with that aren't going to give you a deal right now. It's really hard for them to see how that investment's going to pay off. But, we really teach our agents that, and we've seen it because we have a lot of agents that have been with us for a lot of years. That first couple of years, they are dependent on us and the machine. But then after year 3, they should be about 50% repeat referral business. And it's not as scary anymore. The business is a little more predictable. The price points come up. They get the buy and sells. They get 2-for-1s. They get their family. They're more loyal and trusting leads. It's not as hard, and they appreciate that. And we tell them, if you do what we tell you, this will play out. You can ask, the other 6 agents that have been through this gauntlet, and it's true every time. But they have to believe that work will pay off, and to stay out of that rat race of transactional, roller coaster that most agents are
Chasing
on.
leads, right, for a lot of agents.
Yeah.
So,
and when we start to shift to a buyer's market, if we do, and I think we will see, in the next, probably 8 to 12 months, we're going to start to see some distressed sellers that need to access their equity. They may lose their jobs. They're not going to be able to get to their equity. They all have equity now, but they're not going to be able to refinance. The HELOCs are gone. They're going to need to sell, to protect that. And so we may see an influx of, distressed sellers, not shorts, but, distressed sellers that are going to need to move their properties. And a lot of them are going to be sitting right in our database.
You just gave me some homework, and I don't even think that like I know what my training is going to be. Last question, where's the first fun place you're going to once you're completely open back up?
Anywhere besides the seat on my patio. I will go to Target. I don't like anywhere will feel great. I'm so over this, I hope it's Alabama to move my daughter into college. That's probably my first trip on the docket, but anywhere but a cruise. I'm not getting on a cruise ship. I wouldn't.
Cancel a fat, expensive cruise to Italy of all places. I canceled last week.
Oh, yeah. I have no desire to do that anytime soon, but I was getting kind of tired of having to fly out everywhere, and now it's like I would do anything to get on a plane and go anywhere right now, right?
Well,
where would you go?
Oh, Mexican restaurant or a friggin' bar, right? Like, I want chips and salsa and margaritas.
I know. I want to throw a party. I want people, but soon it'll happen.
Well,
this too shall pass.
Thank you so much for being on. It's always great to see you. We'll get this recorded, and I'll send you out a copy, and then we'll see you soon.
Well, I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks. I hope you got something from listening to that episode. If you did, give us a like on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll see you next time on The Hustling Agent.